it's Elizabeth from the Test Prep Spot, and I'm just here playing with scissors. No, I'm just kidding. I'm here to give you and present the first of a series of quick tips. And today's quick tips is on trimming sentences. And that has to do with supporting you on the writing and language section of the SAT as well as the SAT essay. And in this quick tip video, I hope to make them less than 10 minutes. And today we will talk about how to trim a sentence so that you can identify the essence. And this will help you when you're looking for errors, particularly on the writing and language section. So my idea with these quick tip videos is I'm going to start building a series. They'll be less than 10 minutes, and they're designed to fill in the gaps of where I have not provided instruction or videos previously for the SAT essay and also for the writing and language section. So here we go, trimming sentences. So here we are with our quick tip on sentence trimming. This is designed to help you on the SAT writing and language test and the SAT essay. So trimming the sentence is an action you can do to help you understand the structure of the English language better. English is a very difficult language, and the way words are arranged in sentences differs from other languages. And the writing and language test has a component in it where you're asked to identify errors and make improvements on sentences. So if you understand how sentences are structured and can really pull out the bones or the essence of a sentence, then you are better able to understand or identify the errors. In addition, when you write the SAT essay, you are scored on conventions like grammar. You know the content matters of what you write, but you also need to have solid grammar skills, and trimming that sentence will help with that. We want to trim a sentence so that you can identify the most essential parts of a sentence. Trimming gets rid of the non-essentials, like it gets rid of adjectives, adverbs, modifiers, so you can see the essence of a sentence. You can clearly see the subject and the verb, and you can determine if the subject and verb agree. Now, the subject of the sentence is who or what the sentence is about. The verb is what that subject is doing, or the state of being of the subject. And the subject and verb must agree. They must agree in two areas. They must agree in the number and also the tense. Number meaning if the subject is singular, then the verb should be in the singular tense. Similarly, if the subject is plural, then the verb should be in the plural tense. Also, tense is like when the action happened, past tense, present tense, future tense. Those also need to agree for both the subject and the verb. Let's take an example. Our sentence is, Jenny, our neighbor, watches the high school kids walk home from school every day. Now, I wrote this and I tweaked it and I thought it sounded kind of creepy, but maybe that's part of the charm. But if we trim it and look for the subject and the verb, it becomes Jenny watches. Jenny's our subject, watches is our verb. Jenny is singular, she's one person, and the verb watches is in its singular form. So Jenny and watches agree. I also should say that the tense agrees as well, because Jenny, our neighbor, watches the high school kids walk home from school every day. It's something she's doing now, currently doing, so the verb should be in the present form. And it is. Watches is in the present form. Here's another example. It reads, the national soccer players dream of playing in the World Cup someday. If we trim it just down to the subject and the verb, we get players dream. We get rid of the national soccer. We get rid of playing in the World Cup someday. Players is our subject, dreams is our verb. Players is plural, dream is plural. So they are in agreement. Now let's find some errors. And this is what you are asked to do on the SAT writing and language section. You're given a reading passage, and then you're given a sentence, and within that sentence, you're asked to either improve it or identify an error. And the context matters. The sentences that come before the sentence in question and that come after will really give you clues into what tense you're talking about. But here's one sentence, obviously out of context. Sometimes the kids wonders who will win the next League of Legends tournament. I'm just going to pause for a second. Did you all catch the reference in the beginning of this video to League of Legends? I never knew that this whole world of League of Legends existed, never knew about the video game until about a week and a half ago. I watched a documentary on Netflix, and it is super interesting. I never realized the amount of prize money that's involved in playing video games, the level of skill and training that these professional gamers go through, and also the number of fans that go and watch in stadiums, watch these people play League of Legends. It was impressive and something I never knew existed. I bet a lot of you out there do know, but it was totally news to me. So it's kind of on my mind, so that's why I included it here. But if we look at the sentence and trim it, we would get rid of sometimes. You could get rid of the as well, but I think it actually helps us to understand the if we have agreement or not. You would also get rid of who will win the next League of Legends tournament. And we're left with the kids' wonders. Now, they are not in agreement, right? Kids does not agree with wonders. Kids is plural and wonders is singular. So those are not in agreement. So we need to fix it. We need to change our verb wonders to the plural form. And it would sound like sometimes the kids wonder who will win the next League of Legends tournament. There is a test you could do, and I call it the pronoun test. And you use a pronoun that is singular, like she. You can say she wonders. Okay, that sounds good. So wonders is singular. Then you could use a subject that's plural, subject pronoun like they. They wonder. Wonder is the plural form. So if you test your verb with she for singular or test it with they for plural, you can test for agreement that way. Let's find some more errors. This sentence, the whole group, with the exception of Sophia and Anna, think coffee is delicious. Did anyone catch the coffee image in the intro? I love coffee. It's the first thing I think about in the morning. And I set the coffee pot in the evening, dreaming of that first cup. So I had to include it in this quick tip. So again, the sentence is, the whole group, with the exception of Sophia and Anna, think coffee is delicious. So let's trim it. Let's find the subject. The subject is group. The verb is think. Okay, the group think. That does not sound right. Group is singular, and the verb think is plural. This one's a little bit tricky because even though group is singular, group does indicate more than one person. So some people might think groups is plural, but remember you could have groups, which would be more than one group. So in that case, groups is plural. In this case, group is singular. It's also tricky because the verb follows Sophia and Anna. And a lot of students get confused about the subject when the verb follows closely behind like that. But Sophia and Anna are not the subject in this case. They are they kind of modify the sentence and they just add some more information. But the true subject is group. So group is singular. So if we were to fix it, it would be the whole group, with the exception of Anna and Sophia, thinks coffee is delicious. So what we could do is we could cut out the area with the exception of Anna and Sophia, just get rid of all that. And if we read it, the whole group thinks coffee is delicious. And that sounds right. That sounds good. That is correct. Here's an example from the College Board. The sentence that we're dealing with is in blue. And keep in mind, this sentence is taken out of context right now. It comes from a longer passage with a couple of paragraphs. And that's important to know because we need to pay attention to the tense of the paragraphs that come before and after, as well as the tense within the paragraph to know if our verb and subject agree. So let's read the sentence. A crowd of admiring spectators watched as Kingman squeezes dollops of paint from several tubes into a tin watercolor box from just a few primary colors. Watched is underlined because that's the word we need to pay attention to. That's the word in question. The College Board wants to know, would you keep it? Would you improve it? How would you change it? So let's trim it. Let's identify the subject and the verb. If we trim it, we get rid of admiring spectators as Kingman We should also get rid of squeezes, but I keep it there for a reason. Dollops of paint from several tubes into a tin watercolor box from just a few primary colors. And we see that the subject we're left with is crowd, which is singular, and watched. Watched is in past tense, and it could be singular or plural. Again, we could use the pronoun test. She watched, they watched. So it works with both singular and plural. But the tense is what's in question here. And in red, we see squeezes. Now, squeezes is present tense. Watched is past tense. But we need more evidence to go from. Within the paragraph, back at the College Board on their website, this sentence is in a paragraph that is all in present tense. So the verb watched does need to be in present tense. So in this case, they do not agree and it needs to be fixed. And you can see, like I say here, you need to look for other context clues in the paragraph to see that it's all present tense. So let's change watched to watches. So if we fix it, we get a crowd of admiring spectators watches as Kingman squeezes dollops of paint from several tubes into a tin watercolor box from just a few primary colors. Now, this is just one example from the College Board. They have numerous practice and sample tests, and I'll show you on the next slide where you can find them. For more practice, you can go directly to the College Board. See the link right there. I also have a blog post on trimming sentences. I also have a book on the SAT writing and language test. And then finally, I have my online course for the SAT essay. So until the next quick tip, study hard, rest hard. Make sure you are resting. That's the time when your brain assimilates all the information you've learned and actually commits it to memory. And don't forget to play hard. Now, I have to say, don't run with scissors. Since this was about trimming sentences, I had to include that bad mom joke, but don't run with scissors. But do play hard. Life is not meant to be a slog. It's not meant to be a burden. It's meant to be enjoyed. So please do make sure you're finding time to have some enjoyment in your life. All right, until the next quick tip, take care.